Tato, hello everyone out there in podcast world, and welcome along, haere mai, to Showy Ovaries, a podcast where I, perilously close to perimenopause, or maybe in it, not really sure, Penny Ashton, talk to a number of owners of ovaries all about their journeys through the mystical underbelly of the change, so we can all learn about it together. A reminder that I am not a doctor. I did play Nurse Glendine Rattray in Instant Anatomy once, but as that was an improvised soap opera, I am not much use. So please talk to a proper doctor if you require some assistance or suddenly find yourself thinking, as some people already have after listening, hey, maybe I am heading down that menopause slippery slope after all. So my guest today is as showy as they get. He lives for shows, produces shows, MCs shows, has won TV shows, has very showy costumes, and is beaming in from one of the places currently able to do shows, Poneki, Wellington. So please welcome Hugo Grrrl, aka George Fowler. Hooray, hello.
Yay, hello. Good
Hello.
afternoon, how you doing?
I'm good. So you've just had your second jab, so you're feeling a bit... Ugh.
Yeah, COVID jab. I feel like shit.
You feel like shit.
I feel ripped off.
You feel ripped up, but you've got really nice immunity now.
Yeah. At least I know it's working. It's good. I like that intro, by the way.
Oh, I've got even better ones coming up for you soon. But how are you going at level 2 regardless of today?
It's fine. We are lucky that we can do some shows, but it just doesn't feel any COVID when you're a performer. It just doesn't feel like...
It is shithouse, isn't it? It really is.
It's shithouse. And level 2 sucks when you make money from entertainment because it's like, it's much harder. Level 4 is just like, great, we just cancel everything, as I'm sure you know.
Yes.
And level 2 is like, you can do stuff, but you shouldn't. You should be very careful. You should feel bad about it.
So. And everybody has to sit very far apart. And
Yeah. I do have a lovely part-time job.
Yeah.
Moving up to a full-time job because I
Ah.
fucking quit. Penny, all this.
You quit everything.
Stuff. I did. I'm taking a big break of the old show business.
Wow, and I haven't actually caught up with that. So there
you go.
So completely.
Yep,
I thought you were going to do some training.
Yeah, well, and then I got a full-time job. So big break from producing shows and doing the razzle dazzle full-time.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna move into Auckland in February. And I was going to do event management at AUT because my CV looks like shit despite the fact that I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, really?
Well, you should tell the people I got rejected from jobs that.
Right.
But then I've got this lovely, lovely big gay job with a company called South Pacific Pride, and so I'll be doing that for the next wee while.
What is the job of you? Don't mind me asking.
So South Pacific Pride run a bunch of stuff. They run Winter Pride, the Queenstown Pride Festival.
Great.
And they do something called Pride Pledge, which helps businesses and workplaces not be dicks to gay people.
Sweet. That's that's just the baseline, isn't it? Just don't be dicks to anybody and gay people included. Right. Mm-hmm. Well, that sounds very, I feel like that's what your shows kind of did anyway. But yeah, don't be dicks to people with difference or just anybody, female comedians, what have you.
Yeah, whatever.
Just don't be dicks, people.
Just don't be dicks. Yeah, very, very much in my kaupapa, in my skill set. Yeah. It's all very correct.
Sweet. Right. Okay. Well, I have an introduction for you that might be slightly out of date now.
Well, it's fine. I still am. I'm never going to stop dressing up. No. I'm never going to stop doing this.
No, you just did a music video, in fact, which was quite marvelous.
Did for One Hit Wonder, and it's just that's some bucket list shit.
Yeah, right. I just watched it yesterday, and it was very joyous and quite a frothy pop hit that's very catchy.
Oh, tell me about the catchy, mate.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What's it called again?
It's called This Is My Year. Yeah. Can't get it out of my head.
I was singing it for a while after I listened to it yesterday. It's up there with Bing Bang Bong. Okay, so here's my other introduction. George Fowler, aka Hugo Grrrl, has packed a shit ton into his 30 years. Moving to Wellington at 17 in search of good gay bars, he soon started performing as a drag king, a lesser-known sibling of the drag queen, particularly at the time. But George, with his alter ego, Hugo Grrrl, was determined to forge his own career, so started producing full-time to get more stage time and has produced a gazillion shows, employing tons of people, including yours truly. He is an hilarious MC and performer, even if he is taking a hiatus, as evidenced by his award-winning inaugural season in New Zealand's House of Drag, and by forging a huge following for Hugo all over the country and on social media with his cabaret, pun battles, which I won once by making a dick joke, comedy shows and more. In the midst of all of this, he eventually came out as a trans man and describes finally feeling like he has the face he always should have by saying, "I was looking for the first time at a face that belonged to me. I looked nice. I looked good. I looked like a boy," which I thought was quite marvelous. So please welcome boyishly handsome George Fowler. Hooray.
God, these intros are giving me life.
Oh, I'm pleased.
It's good. That's lovely. Thank you. You make me sound fancy.
Well, you are fancy. I mean, do you sit back and, like, I've asked lots of people this and they sort of go, "Oh, yeah." Do you sit back and think about all that and go, "Yeah, fuck yeah, I did that"?
Yeah, I think of everything. I'm most proud of my transition.
I mean, that's quite big.
It's quite large.
It is
quite
large, yes.
Sorting out who you are,
Yeah.
quite large. Yeah, no, life feels good having done all that horrible hard stuff and continuing to do all that horrible hard stuff.
I know, and I was reading in one of the numerous articles that provided me with much inspiration that you feel like it took you a long time to come to that, but to me you still feel quite young, but I don't know if that feels patronizing or anything.
No, it doesn't feel patronizing. You know what? It's the trans mass curse that I'll forever look like a teenage boy. So you'd be forgiven for thinking I'm maybe younger than I am because I just look pubescent, quite literally.
Yeah.
I feel that's sort of tied up in my drinking journey as well because I'm sober now, but I feel that I had a late start and wasted a lot of time because I really didn't get into the game until quite, like I hang out with 18-year-old drag performers all the time and I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, I started when I was, 24?
20. You see, that's still so young.
Yeah, but at the time it just doesn't feel, and like in the drag scene, or at least in the amateur drag scene, which is where I spend my time, I feel positively fucking ancient.
Yeah, because I do watch Drag Race, and I know anybody that's over a certain age talks like that. The funny thing is, I could have given birth to you, and it would have been slightly irresponsible. Like I think I would have been 17, so I would have thought about it, but it wouldn't have been crazy. But when I find that I've talked to people that I could have feasibly given birth to, it makes me feel old.
It's like, good Lord. I mean, I see us in the same plane, but you as a
senior.
As a senior. Yeah. But I certainly don't see you as a generation above, good God.
And I totally am. And it's funny because I started when I was 28, 27, 28. So yeah,
there you go.
I was older again still. And once I started, I felt like I came home.
Yeah.
Because I was always on stage when I was younger, but then I lived in London and I was producing for other people and publicizing for other people, and then just went, nah. Every opening that I publicized, I was like, get off the fucking stage and put me in the middle of it. And then I eventually got to that. So, I mean, for you, because you started on stage at 17?
Yeah. I mean, I just did some performing stuff in high school and then really just like nothing for 10 years while I did other things with and put other things in me, and just wasted a bunch of time and
it's so funny, isn't it? You feel like you've wasted time, but it's all makes you who you are.
It definitely did, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're from Christchurch too. I feel like everyone is from Christchurch.
Yeah, a bunch of us came out of Christchurch,
which a lot of people get out of Christchurch, but I think Christchurch has come so far in terms of I love going back there and hanging out with my performing buddies now in Christchurch.
Fuck yeah, there's good stuff.
There's so much good stuff. And I really got in touch with it through the Buskets Festival personally. So yeah, that was really cool. But we shall get on to the questions for you that I sent to you. Now, yes, this first question I've been asking everybody, and I imagine it is quite full on one for you. But so what would you say that your journey with your body has been like in your 30 years? Yeah, I know. I thought about this. Yeah, absolutely.
Reasonably loaded, yes.
Yes.
Right. So, especially in terms of what you're talking about, in terms of estrogen.
Yeah.
We are people who have gone through many a puberty process.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, so puberty was not great for me. And of course I did not know why at the time, but it was just fucking horrified.
Yeah.
And very just like, I just don't remember any of it, just like blocked it all out.
Right, so trauma.
Yeah, literally like a feeling of like, they're not recording video, but I'm making a gesture that makes it seem like I'm floating above my body. Like, you just get further and further away from the reality that's happening to your body because it was not what I expected.
Because it's divergent.
Divergent is a good word, yes.
Right,
it was not It is not what I wanted, and it felt all very like sci-fi body horror. No, thank you. This is nightmarish.
So estrogen was your enemy in a way.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah. Also, an interesting thing that I'm reckoning with now is that, so I was a super skinny kid, and then when puberty hit, it was the first time that I put on any weight and got curves and stuff, and I fucking hated that.
Right.
So that pretty much started a lifelong hatred with any kind of softness or weight or whatever, and because I associated it with this horrible process. And then insert, like when I started trying to appear more androgynous and masculine, I just fucking starved myself later in life.
Oh, right.
I know. And now, of course, because when you go on testosterone, it causes you to bulk out. And so it's complicated, but it's this beautiful process of, this is good weight. This is good.
It's hard.
We're packing it on in the right areas, and like really I'm now in this process of healing and learning to like be like, no, good beer belly, very good. And like, getting bigger as a person is not something that is considered a good thing, or when you're taught how to be attractive as a woman. So becoming a bigger person, even though I'm still skinny boy on the scale of things, trying to get all that misogynistic shit out of my head and just be like, nah, fuck yeah, take up space.
Yeah, right.
Big boy, yeah.
Yeah. So how long did you come to thinking about your top surgery and then getting rid of those things that you did not enjoy?
Right, yeah. I think it's just drag, like I really got into drag. It was just this, like this vomit process of just like, I don't even really remember the process of starting to dress up and experiment with all of that, because it all happened so fast and organically, and it was so exciting. And of course I was like, this is just a character, everything is fine, ha ha ha.
Right.
So it was the process of doing drag that of course made me realize that I much preferred my body not having tatas on it.
You strap yourself down you tape yourself down.
Yeah, for drag I would like, there's a horrifyingly popular YouTube video where I whip my nipples.
I think you're showing people
how to do it. Yeah, and I literally just opened YouTube, and now there's like, very quickly there's like over 1 million views on
Holy
it, which
shit.
is disgusting. But I've kept it up because so many trans and drag king people have watched it. Unfortunately, I don't think they're the majority audience of that video.
You should put an ad on that, but yeah, maybe
I can't, because it's like R18 content. Yeah, very annoying.
Oh,
but yeah, so I used to
at least make some money from.
I know, money of the fucking male gaze, please, thank you. So I've got a video of me whipping my nipples under my armpits. It's quite the process, but I used to be phenomenally good at it because I loved it, and would just.
Yeah, I mean, I remember because I would perform with you when you had that, and I would be thinking to myself, where have they gone?
Where have they gone?
Where have they gone? So they're under your pits. I mean, I can do that personally without taping anything. They just reach them.
Most people can.
Right, yeah.
Most people can.
Mine reach very far. Quite far away from me, quite far behind me. Right, okay. But I'd be a bit harder to hide, that's for sure. Right.
Nah, anyway, I'll tell you if you... I've got it all. I've got it all sussed if you want to know. So, and I mean, imagine hosting for 2 hours, just yelling with you.
Yeah, pushed, does that make it difficult to fill with air?
God, yeah. It's very bad, but of course.
I mean, as a corset wearer, I have some understanding, but.
Yes, I imagine you would. Yeah, but it's bad for your body and good for your soul,
As so much is.
There's so much is.
On stage, like with getting dressed up as a woman, particularly, there's a lot of that. But I still feel, because I love my tits, so I'm different to you. I love them. They've sort of been very much a definition of who I am. It's been my nickname at primary school was Big Tits at primary school. Yeah.
Hate that for you.
Yeah. And then you get judged for them and called a slut because of them and all that sort of stuff. But I still enjoy them.
Not your fucking fault, is it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes, I was a bit of a slut at some point, but so fucking what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good on you, mate.
Anyway, right. Okay, cool. So that, and now you are in an acceptance phase?
For sure, yeah. I mean, there's, as I've already mentioned, there's so many hang-ups and so much shit to get over, but like definitely happier than I've ever been, and definitely, especially volunteering for the second round of puberty. My acceptance and oneness with it is much increased in the first time round. So even though transitioning is like such a fucking mind fuck and body fuck of a process, it's an exciting change, even though it's hard.
Yeah, so you diverged and now you're coming together again.
Yes, very that. Yeah.
Right. Nice. So, yeah, okay, so let's talk about it. So the fact is that when trans men transition, they go through a form of menopause and male puberty at the same time.
I guess so. I think it would be better put, the menopausal symptoms are side effects, right? Like, because you're flooding your body with testosterone, and menopause is like your estrogen drops, right?
Do you take estrogen suppressants?
I don't know. So
right, okay.
That's like a different, so it's quite controversial, but puberty blockers is like a different thing. And I don't know if you can do that as an adult person transitioning, but for younger trans people, puberty blockers is a legit thing.
Right. So for you, you're just taking testosterone, that's the difference?
Yep.
So isn't that, so the male hormone takes over from the lady hormone?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's good for you, but it makes me just go, typical.
Yeah, there's many people who do it the other way around, so yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I guess that's quite interesting, isn't it? Like, everyone has a balance. Like, I'm not overriding estrogen. Every person has estrogen. I'm just putting more of the other stuff in.
And I've heard that testosterone is the shit, and that somebody that started taking it was like, I didn't realize this stuff made you feel quite so great. Are you feeling that?
Wow, that's interesting. I don't know. I think my confidence is more to do with feeling good about becoming more manly and not to do with the hormone. But I wonder if that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Male confidence is biological.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but the thing is, of course, in so much of this, it's so difficult to know. It's like with menopause as well. A lot of women are like, oh, maybe I actually have anxiety, but you're never exactly sure what the cause of it is.
God, yeah. And especially, like, it's just, medical research is so fucking patriarchal. Like, it's astounding. I'm sure you're banging up against this talking to people about menopause, but like, it's just horrifying how little we know about these things. It's, my girlfriend has endometriosis. Like, it's horrifying how this affects such a more than half the population has this reproductive system. Why do we not know anything about it? And of course, times that by 10 when you come to trans research. Here's a horrifying statistic, is that we don't know about the long-term effects of hormone replacement therapy because there aren't enough trans people alive to generate that data.
Oof.
Yeah,
it is full on, isn't it? Because the amount of people that have taken their own lives because they felt completely outside of themselves, and the shame. Have you managed to just say goodbye to the shame?
Well, does anyone ever get rid of shame completely?
I'd say not. But hopefully you've.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm lucky that I live in a lovely little queer bubble. But my shame now is like not passing, being seen as sort of a lesser man or a small man or an unattractive, not doing manliness enough person,
So you're feeling that?
Yeah. So when I experience shame out in the world, it's that variety of shame.
And I was reading somebody else that transitioned and suddenly got male privilege, which they weren't expecting. So have you experienced that?
For sure. Sure.
So in what ways?
Yeah, so I don't pass amazingly well yet. And also when I'm in a room of other men, I don't. I'm usually the junior looking one, and that sort of privilege. But like acceptance into a boys' club, because I'm even as a former lesbian, dressed more masculinely some of the time, and that would give you sort of boys' club pseudo status. There's a really amazing author called Thomas Page McBee who writes extensively about having experienced patriarchy on both sides, because he passes really, really well, and his experiences I found fascinating. But I don't experience anything on that level because I'm still baby faced and I'm camp as fuck. Whatever male privilege I have is very much mitigated by that. But I'd be lying to you if I said I don't get fucking catcalled on the street anymore. So there you go.
Right. Yeah, right. And so have you been experiencing menopause symptoms?
Yes, but I would love to talk. I don't consider myself an expert on that because you're sort of the person who.
Well, I'm trying to find out as much as everybody from everyone's individual stories. I do plan to talk to a doctor at some point, but I just want to hear everyone's individual stories currently.
Yeah, for sure. So something menopausal symptoms, right? So because I don't have much estrogen in my body, something I know is a menopausal symptom from nurses is that my cunt is a little bit out of whack. She's having a little bit of a time because estrogen is this is the nurse's quote, not mine, is estrogen is the thing that makes your vaginal wall plump and moist.
Yeah.
So
that's like everything that you hate too, isn't it? When it comes
no, not great words. So that causes I get UTIs reasonably often and BV, bacterial vaginosis, which is kind of thrushy symptoms, but it literally is just like a slight imbalance.
Yeah, and this is one of the more common ones, I believe, indeed. So do you take some, like you can get silk for that, which is a lubricant for your lady parts? Sorry, you're not lady parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get, what do you prefer cunt? Is that your preference?
I guess so. I actually usually do bits.
Bits.
My bits.
Yeah. Bits is useful.
Yes. Definitely not
lady parts. That would be a ridiculous thing to say to you.
Well, yeah, if they're not lady parts, I assure you of that, especially not now post testosterone.
Right.
I'm wholly other beast now. Yeah, definitely not like pussy. Pussy's very wrong.
It's just a horrid word, pussy. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just feels like,
Yeah, no, cunt is correct.
Right. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you can get silk, which is it's actually, I think it's started to be made in New Zealand. It's like a kiwi fruit extract that is a lubricant for down there.
Wow, that seems like a thing that should not go down there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they've probably worked on it rather than just puree it and Nutribullet.
Shove an acidic fruit up there. Just go on. So is silk like a non-sexual lubricant, like a daily lubricant?
Yes, I believe so. SYLK.
Yeah.
Look that one up.
Never heard of it. Cool.
Sponsors another menopause podcast that I was listening to.
Ah, cool. Yeah, no, I've never heard of that. No, I've just got like some super gentle like cream stuff that if I ever get symptoms, I just whack on.
Do you take antibiotics?
Only when it's bad and I have to go to a doctor to get antibiotics. Right. Yeah, but I used to get UTIs so much more often. And again, this is just like medical research. Like they just don't tell you this shit. But I was getting UTIs. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Turns out heaps of trans men get them either because of that hormonal imbalance or because like things are growing, things are changing down there and like causing some sort of friction, something, I don't know, but yeah, apparently it's super common for trans men. So there you fucking go. There's something the internet or your doctor won't tell you.
Yeah, right. And do you have you had like hot flushes or anything like that?
Definitely. So like when on testosterone you get, I call it like roiding out, because I'll suddenly some slight frustration will cause my whole body to go hot and I'll like completely fucking overreact to a situation. I hate it. It's the most horrible feeling. And I'm not an angry person, but I feel angry.
That's what Pinky was talking about. Pinky said that she just had these immense flashes of absolute fucking rage is how she put it. So, again, you're not quite sure which it is, right? Is it that or is it the testosterone? Which could make sense.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, totally. And so I was horrified by it. I was talking to my trans mates. I was like, does this go away? And they were kind of like, no, it just gets easier to manage. And that's true. It does just get easier.
And that's part of puberty too, isn't it, for dudes? Oh my God, you have got a hormonal soup going on, don't you?
It's a lot, yeah. And it makes you feel, it makes you feel like a teenage boy. You feel out of control and ragey at the world for no good reason. And
and do you still get your periods?
No. So I have been on the Mirena IUD for 6 or 7 years or something. And I was just one of the lucky people for whom it
stopped.
Nipped that shit in the bud, but I doubt. So I'm over 2 years on testosterone now, so I very much doubt I would. But I don't need the Mirena out, so I've got like 3 or 4 more years. They last for 5 years, so the one I'm on will last for at least another 3 years, and then when I get it out, I just won't replace it. And fingers bloody crossed, because I don't miss that process.
Fingers not bloody crossed, yeah, that's for sure. And so you have a girlfriend, and so how has she been through all? And how long have you been together?
We've been together for well over a year.
Fabulous. And is that because when did you start taking testosterone?
Over 2 years ago. So I was a trans man.
Oh, you just said that. Yes, you just told me that. Right. Okay. And so that's all going well. I mean, there's some stuff to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm sort of, it's just kind of wonderful, I guess, just because she's a queer woman. Like,
Yep.
I did not have to transition with a partner who had to deal with that change in identity of like, good God, does this make me in a straight relationship now kind of stuff.
Yes.
But yeah, so.
Which it must be a bit of a head fuck, and for her as well, I imagine.
Well, for other people, sure, but it wasn't a head fuck for my girlfriend, no.
Oh, fantastic. Aww. You look very cute together on the social medias, I should say.
Thank you. Yes, it's pretty funny because I'm the camp one, she's the more butch one, which is pretty funny.
And also just proves that, there's just so many things that people expect of certain people and it just means nothing.
It just doesn't mean anything in any relationship.
Yeah.
Gender's, I mean, we know this, gender's a fucking lie.
Yeah.
But it's very easy in that regard. In fact, before you asked that question, I've never even really thought about it.
Oh, wow.
Pretty cool.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Marvellous.
Yeah.
And what sort of puberty symptoms are you having?
Well, all of them, I guess. So I have started on the old facial hair journey. All I've ever been sure of in my whole damn life, Penny, is that I want a moustache.
Well, and you've stuck one on enough times, don't you? That's kind of been your signature, isn't it, that moustache?
It is.
So how close is it to a reality?
Look, too far away. I keep shaving it off.
I mean, it's Movember, so here we go.
It is. Let's do it. I have hairs, like I have dark hairs all over the lower half of my face, but they're taking their sweet bloody time.
And that's one of the side effects of menopause that I am horrified by. So,
true.
Fuck yeah. I have one under here and I just pluck it. It's so funny, isn't it? What excites us about our bodies, and that is not one for me. But hooray! So hopefully you might have some menopausal hairs and some testosterone hairs that might make it a bit thicker.
Gimme. I'll take yours if you're willing to donate.
Give you all the hairs, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and so that must be very exciting.
It is, and it's lovely. Like it is, and also because people engage in hormone therapy for lots of different reasons. Everyone's approach to gender is different. So it's always, and doctors are really, really keen to talk to you about that. They're like, they'll be like, what are your symptoms? And they're like, are you happy with that? Are you happy with that? You sure you're fine? So you're kind of built constantly checking in with yourself. Like, do I like this? Is this fine? And thankfully, pretty much all of the symptoms, I'm like, cool. Acne, I could really do without. I've never, everyone has skin problems. I had blackheads, but that proper like cheek welty acne is something that is definitely because of testosterone, and I am not a fan. That does not make me look good.
No. I suppose your face will be enjoying taking a break from all that grease paint currently.
Well, yeah, I mean, I still do drag like every week because
I thought you would.
I know, but I'm still in Wellington. Yeah. I still need money, so I'm doing like a weekly pub quiz thing. So.
Oh, okay. So, can you take Roaccutane for that, or?
I'm not quite there. Because that has big side effects.
You might try out your not lady parts even further, have you?
Oh God, probably don't need that. Also, hang on, let's just double back a conversation point before I talk about my skin some more. So I do experience dryness, but then as a side effect of testosterone, you get ravenously fucking horny.
Oh my God.
Like, and so I'm like, dryness, are you really sure?
Oh, that's annoying.
It doesn't,
get the silk stuff.
No. Like, that's what I'm saying is like, well, it's either dry or it's really, really not. So
I see. Yes, I thought right. I get you. Right. Yeah. Okay. I thought you were saying that the dryness was a problem for that, but no, you overcome your obstacles. And then some.
Oh my God, oh my goodness! You should think about entering the pun battle. That was great.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah,
I know. I'm very happy that do you know what? I was terrified going into that pun battle. I probably told you at the time, just because I've only done it once, because then I couldn't do the final type one because I was away traveling as I used to do, and I wrote pages and pages and pages of puns before because
your preparedness worked a charm.
Yeah, and then I made a microwave joke about the guy that took his trousers off. You probably don't remember everyone's individual puns.
God, no.
How many of you hosted? Fuck, millions.
Dozens.
I'm sure you've heard the same ones over and over again as well. Some guy took his trousers down. I said, I'm glad you could do that. And we were in the kitchen section because I can see your microwave. And it was really fun. But anyway, back to you. Thank you.
Thank you for reminding me of that stunner pun.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Right. Well, wow. Oh my God, there's so much going on for you. And are you imagining to stay emotionally stable through all of this?
Yeah, well, more so than I have been in other stages of my life, which is good.
And not drinking helps.
Yeah, so I quit drinking after I came out because sorting your life out is contagious, I guess. So I sort of started being honest with myself and really started being honest with myself. So it was like only a couple of months after coming out, I was like, oh shit. And yeah, stopped drinking, and that fucking sucked. God, I miss it. No one talks about that. God, I miss it. But yeah.
Rising above, but no, I really want to fucking drink.
I really want to fucking drink all the time. And my life is so much better for not giving into that impulse.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much. I think that's the hardest thing that I've ever done is stayed sober, because testosterone, you just roll with it. You know, once you're on it, you just keep being on it and just deal with it. But drinking is an active choice every day.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah, and I quit drinking, and then I was like, oh, holy shit, my life is more manageable now. I can sort my shit out. And then because I wasn't on an enormous amount of alcohol, antidepressants were a thing that was open to me again, because they would actually fucking work. So that was quite exciting, being able to go on some mood stabilizers, and again, life becoming more manageable. And,
are you still on those?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I will definitely consider coming off them at some stage, but I don't see.
I mean, like, I'm epileptic. I take pills and they work, so I see no reason to stop them.
Exactly,
if
right?
They work.
Yeah.
And mood stabilizers are often anticonvulsants, actually, sometimes too.
Yeah. Wow, interesting. But yeah, I obviously don't feel a huge amount of shame about it or anything. Like, it's just something that helps a little bit, and yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, they were invented for a reason, so let's use them.
Yeah.
I say. Absolutely.
I think at some stage I was telling you about puberty symptoms, so let me do a rundown. Yes. So obviously my hair everywhere is getting thicker and more of it. So I'm getting fluffy, and it's very cute. My hairline has receded a little bit.
Oh my God.
Yeah, not too much. Some boys go completely fucking bald, but yeah, so my hairline has definitely changed. Acne, my face shape has changed enormously. And
yes, it has. Like, I so noticed that in your social media, because I haven't actually seen you, I don't think. But yeah, all these pictures popping up, I'm like, holy fuck, that's so much more mass.
Who is that? And it's pretty amazing. So my jaw occasionally just like aches, because my face is like changing, and it's
changing shape.
And having painted a masculine face on my face for so many years, it's so cool to see all the lines that I paint in starting to actually appear. Like, that is some full circle.
It's like magic, isn't it? That is magic.
Absolutely, yeah.
So do you contour less now?
Nah, I still go handies, but I've got more of a line to follow now, which is cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I'm bulking, so my fat redistribution is happening. When I still had titties, it was almost overnight. Like, I just woke up and there was no fat in my tits. I could like lift them up from the front and they were just like empty. Only thing left in it is like the parts of it that have a functional role, like the nitty gritty, but all the
glands and things. Yeah. Right. Okay. Fascinating.
Very fascinating.
Very fascinating.
Yeah. And like, obviously I put on muscle easier, but I don't know, it's a bit off topic, but like, I have such a complex relationship with working out, like, and I actually had to like unfollow all the super buff, super passing trans boys on my social media, because I don't know, like, I've put my body through so much discomfort in my life. Like, I'm making a conscious choice not to pursue the path of getting jacked and doing all that hard stuff, because my body, and maybe I will really want to get fit and derive a whole bunch of joy from that at some point. I still exercise, but not with the goal of bulking and bulking up my upper body and trying to look more masculine, because I feel like it would be counter to loving myself as I am now. And also, I don't want to engage in that process of discomfort.
Yeah, right, okay. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Like, I mean, I have been a member of Les Mills since I was 18, and at times it was all about desperately trying to lose weight, and I couldn't do it. And I've gotten to a point now where I do it to get fitter for my shows and to get stronger for my shows, and I'm a lot more accepting of what I look like now.
Yeah.
And that's a big process, yeah. And I think that's, exercising for health rather than desperately wanting something to happen that might not, and then beating yourself up because it hasn't, is a much better place to be in.
God, yeah. And yeah, I feel that. I feel that in my body, and really making that conscious choice to be like, nah, fuck yeah. And like following those, social media has such a huge impact on what you allow into your brain space. So I follow all those chubby beer trans guys and the little squishy twinks.
Dad bods.
Like me.
Dad bods.
Yeah. Right, and, we all come in shapes and sizes, and just being like.
The amount of shapewear ads I have hidden on Facebook.
Nah.
It's just like you turned 40 and then it was just shapewear.
Bow, bow, bow.
Where does your gut fat, hang, all this sort of stuff. Just block is bullshit. Well, I would just like to say before we get to my fun out of the box fact part, thank you very much for your incredible candid honesty.
My pleasure.
And for sharing that journey with us, because it's so full on. And I think, I don't know, personally, sometimes I feel uncomfortable asking certain questions. So it's really great that you feel up for answering those. And if people do feel uncomfortable asking you things, obviously you don't need lots of intimate questions about shit. In that article you were talking about, people asking you about all sorts of things about what's going on in different places in your body that you don't need.
Gotcha.
But what would you say to people who feel awkward to talk to you about things and wanting to know things? Like, how should they approach that?
Yeah, so obviously we're mates, and you asked me specifically if I would be comfortable talking about these issues for a thing that is for a cause, like with this situation is a little bit different. And of course I'm very happy to, but Google would be my answer to people before launching in. It's this weird loophole that people see when they see trans people. They're just like, wow, let me ask you about your fucking genitals, and really. Everyone always jumps to surgery. It's like, mate, I was as much of a trans man as I was pre any surgery. I am as much of a trans man now as I ever was,
Yeah. I liked your analogy about if a woman has a mammogram, is she still a woman, etc.
A mastectomy?
Oh, yeah, a mammogram. That makes no sense.
No, and it's just, gender doesn't work like that, and also, like, that's just, and it is because they're like, oh, you're a real trans person, you've obviously had surgeries. It's like, that's what you're implying when you ask me that, like, don't. And, of course, people are just like, what you got, which is obviously the rudest end of the spectrum.
That is so crazy. I just can't even,
just be chill. And if you have specific burning desires to understand me, that's more of a you problem than it is a me problem. It's not my problem to educate you. Google is
That's so true, because why would, you have to repeat yourself endlessly. Why would you? Says me, who's just asked you all these questions. Also,
yes, but for a good cause. And also, if you ask me these things in a dressing room, I would happily rant to you about them, because very exciting things that I'm very proud of are happening to my body, and I am very inappropriate and love talking about this shit.
Which is fantastic.
You are very different from a
general person,
a general person.
And also find some interesting Express articles that are out there where you talk about it at length and can learn things, as I did in preparing for this interview. So that is good. So before you have to go and do your other meeting, because you were very in demand, did you manage to come up with a fun fact, an out-of-the-box fun fact about...
I saw that, but I was like, oh, God, I don't know. I think maybe the one that I can offer personally is that estrogen is the thing that makes your vaginal wall plump and moist.
Okay, thank you. There we go.
That's directly impacted by your estrogen.
That's your fun fact. Yeah, I was just talking to somebody else I was interviewing about. There was a woman in the UK who could no longer wear jeans or ride horses ever again.
Total thing.
So you can sort of understand that level of discomfort, but you're on
I totally can, and I'm sure you can too, because the underwear we have to wear for shows is often not the most luxurious.
I'm quite a fan of the Kmart cotton pair of undies, but with a corset on top. So
nice.
So there's some free easy breathing, but then the tits are squished. But on that note, I think that's a wonderful way.
On squished tits, we shall leave you today.
And man parts. Well, good luck with your man parts and your bum fluff and your moustache. I can't wait.
Thank you so much. Me neither.
I can't wait. Right. Fantastic. Lovely to see you, and enjoy level 2, even if it is somewhat constraining.
Thank you, my love.
And we'll see you when we can fucking do anything again.
Yay.
Okay. Bye. So yay, that was the amazing George Fowler, and he is so funny. Honestly, he's the perfect example of someone who's worked so hard at his craft and had so much stage time, and it's just paid off, because he's an excellent MC and very funny on stage. So if you get a chance to see him, please do. And a massive thank you to him for his incredible honesty, and also his matching me in sweariness, which is actually quite hard, but he was more than up for the task. So thanks to him for that. I also, in his honor of my winning his pun battle, looked up some of the puns that I wrote, because I still have it, because I wrote 18 pages of puns, because I was so terrified of looking like an idiot and yes, I was quite a girly spot at school. Surprise. So I'm going to actually give you some of my favorite puns at the end of this, so hang on for that. First of all, though, I thought I'd talk about Silk, which is SYLK, which is that personal lubricant. that we were talking about. As George says, estrogen acts as a natural lubricant and helps keep the vagina moist. As levels of estrogen fall and we transition through menopause, the tissues around our vagina can become thinner, drier, and inflamed. And lovemaking, or as we like to call it, rooting, is often when many women first notice vaginal discomfort, as the lack of estrogen may cause the vagina to shrink a little, and expand less easily during sex, making penetration uncomfortable and less enjoyable. This is from the Silk website, by the way. Everyday activities can also be affected by vaginal dryness. Now, it is a kiwi fruit vine extract, not the actual fruit. Kiwi fruit vine extract with a pH that matches your vagina and has been specially formulated to provide immediate relief from vaginal dryness whilst nourishing and hydrating delicate tissues. I never thought I'd use the word vagina so often in such a short space of time, but that's just one of the different types of lubricants that are out there that can help when you go through those sorts of situations to make every day more comfortable. Okay, thanks so much for listening. If you felt you wanted to contribute to this podcast, head to Patreon and search for Penny Ashton. You can make a little monthly contribution to help me get the word out there. I've been amazed already at all the brilliant feedback for a start. Thank you so much. Do get in touch if you feel that you want to, or ask questions or suggest things. But also how many people have said to me, oh, now I'm wondering if this is a symptom, which I just feel like my work here is done for that. So if you have experienced that, let me know too. And the best thing you could do though would be to share it on your social medias. It would be fantastic to get this information out there far and wide. And now, of course, you're very excited. Here's some puns. I feel bad that I'm starting off with some alcohol ones, given that George is sober now. But I wrote these for the pun battle, and I think they're genius. My husband wasn't sure. You can decide for yourself. I remember that time you got out of work by pretending that the sparkling wine you drank gave you a stomachache. But really, it was just a champagne. When I was in Mumbai, I drank too much beer from a bucket and got an Indian pale ailment. My Scottish cousin, once he drank a huge number of Bloody Marys with tons of Tabasco in them, and then he had to go for a long Highland spiced wee. That's my favourite. This was from the stationery section. This won't be the first time I've been a pun champ. I have been 1B4. Genius. And finally, I got these great stockings from my physio, who's from Moscow. They're my Russian ortho socks. That was in the religion section. So hilarious. I'm so funny. I thought about doing an extra mini-sode with a whole lot more of them, but actually I think that was enough. So tune in next time for Showy Ovaries to hear more from more fantastic women and trans individuals all about their menopause journeys. Ka kite.